सा फर्क है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में ये अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी। ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत हैं पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Thank you so much, Kanika, for starting the webinar with a very inspirational video from Franchise India side. We welcome all of you to our webinar series, Business Opportunity Over Chai. This is a business opportunity webinar where we will be talking about the great business opportunity we have got for all of you. It is a 45-minute session, which we have divided into 2 parts. First, we'll give you the correct and the complete understanding about the business opportunity. Then we'll move towards a panel discussion. There is a question and answer box, so we request each and every attendee to use that extensively. Share your queries with us so that we take that during our panel discussion. It is our privilege to welcome management team of Franchise India, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am, both as a team leading this particular webinar and hosting the entire session. And the business opportunity which we are representing today for all of you is in time. It's a leading retailer of international watch brands. They started their journey in 2006, and it's a fast growing chain of premium watches retail store. It is one of the India's trusted multi-brands retailers, successfully running their 35 stores in 6 cities of Maharashtra and Gujarat. They offer the wide range of portfolio with watches for men, women, kids, etc. And their facts and figures talk about their success story. They already having a 14 years of experience, having presence in 6 cities, 35 running stores, and they are the authorized of 40 luxury watch brands. And today we have invited Mr. Ronak, who is a director at Just in Time, about his business opportunity. So thank you so much, Ronak, for joining in today to talk about this great brand. I request you to start with a formal presentation from your side and how you and your team has started this journey. So over to you, Ronak.
Sure. Hope I'm audible. Thank you, Archana. Thank you, Kanika, Sonia, Mr. Gaurav, everyone from the Franchise India FranCorp team. It's been a pleasure working with Franchise India. We've been making and chartboarding our plan on the whiteboard since last 365 days. We can proudly say that we've crossed a meaningful, positive journey so far, and we are very confident about our execution roadmap and the rollout strategy. Taking ahead the conversation towards talking about Just in Time. So yes, in the brief introduction, what you guys know about Just in Time, we are a 2006 started retail chain, particularly focused on watches and wearable market. We also are into servicing around watches and wall clocks. So more I will explain while I do the presentation. So I'm glad that you all are here, and I'm getting this chance to showcase this opportunity for each and every one of you for the first time. So this is the very first time where Just in Time is announcing its franchisee plan to the world. Let me share my screen. All right. Archana, can you just nod if my screen is visible?
Yes, yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you. So Just in Time was founded by Mr. Rajesh Chheda, known as Mr. Raju Chheda in the trade. And he comes with a very rich background in the retail ecosystem. He's in his career of 30 plus years, he started more than 100 plus stores overall in different sectors like apparels, luggage, and now watch. With watch industry, started Just in Time in 2006, as you all know already. And we have a success of having close to 50 stores now across pan India. You all know about how the India story is growing and how the Indian market is booming with a lot of product and service sales. So I do not want to really focus on how India is growing, because everyone present on this call is from India and very well knows that what kind of opportunity India holds. So मुझे अभी focus करना है हमारे ecosystem पे, because not many people are on this call who come from watch ecosystem. So I just want to start off with a couple of slides on the watch ecosystem, and then I will jump on who we are, what we do, etc. So today we are going to cover about watch industry, Just in Time, and how and what are the next steps. How can we really collaborate? Talking about the watch ecosystem, Indian watch market is estimated at about $1.85 billion. Roughly $1 billion today is about 7,500 crore Indian rupees. In 2024, it is set to be by 2.5 US billion dollars. And just to give you two segments of how the watch ecosystem is divided into. So one is a regular watch market and other is a premium watch market. To differentiate what premium watch market actually is, you can say in layman's language, जो भी expensive घड़ियां हैं जैसे Rolex, Patek Philippe, Omega, etc. are called to be premium watches, usually priced at 5 lakhs and above. Apart from that, there are like four segments: mass watches, fashion watches, bridge to premium, and premium. So on the pie chart, what you see on your screen, it is giving two stats. One is the premium watch market segment contributes to about 62% by value. ये जाहिर सी बात है क्योंकि 62% looks big because premium watches are usually expensive, but by value they are only 8%. So if you see on the right hand side pie chart, you'll see that 92% of the watch market is still dominated by regular watches, which is mass, fashion, and bridge to premium. That is exactly the space where Just in Time is in. And to understand the stats, you will see about 100 million units are sold year on year in only regular watch segment. This slide is talking about what's happening around us, because of the shift in demand, particularly post-pandemic, particularly post-COVID. So the demand for premium watches definitely has grown. So you will see that there are multiple reasons for it. Some of the reasons I've captured on the slide, saying increasing in average disposable income, steady expansion of retail international fashion brand in tier 2 and tier 3 cities of India. बहुत सारी tier 2 and tier 3 cities demand अपनी ecosystem में, not only in watches, but you must have seen in across categories the demand has grown. Increase in fashion consciousness among people. People are following Instagram, Facebook. In today's social media world, everybody is connected, wants to look good, do good, etc. If you see the 37.95% stat, it is saying that the economy price segment accounted is that big and is growing at 37% year on year. This slide is giving you a little bit of understanding in a very simple, bar graph statistics, that jewelry and watches is growing year on year from 2019 to 2020 and now 2021. Let me straight away jump to who we are and what we're trying to do here. So just in time, अब तक 5 million plus customers को serve कर चुकी है. And this is, the stat which is directly coming from our point of sale. 1 out of 5 customers, visit again. Again, a stat from our point of sale. We have, so just a correction on the previous stat that was shared by probably Kanika, that we are in 6 cities. Actually, the real stat is we are in 10 cities already, and we are about 50 stores across India. And of course, 25 years of strong relationship with all the leading luxury brands that we host. This is a snapshot of the journey that we've crossed so far at Just in Time. The very first store that was started in Mumbai was in 2004, actually. And by the time 2006, we were, figuring out how do we really make this a chain, a branded, a trust place where people can buy different kind of watches and still get a best experience when they come in. Since 2006 till 2021, we've crossed about 20 plus stores in Mumbai and around Mumbai regions like Navi Mumbai, Thane, Kalyan, etc. In 2012, we started our first store in Pune. Today, we have about 8 plus stores in Pune and regions around Pune. In 2014, we started our first store in Gujarat, in cities like Ahmedabad, Surat, Rajkot, and now the new addition is Vadodara, next in line. In fact, would like to take a pause here. Our MD founder is currently in Ahmedabad scouting for new opportunities and locations, and we'll be making some new announcements very soon. And by the way, if anybody on this call is from Gujarat, can absolutely take his time because he's there. In 2016-17, we saw that India is picking up on e-commerce, and we did not really wanted to miss that bus. So we started investing as a cataloging website in 2016 and 17. Until 2020 pandemic happened, we really thought that it will just be a cataloging website. But since COVID has hit, e-commerce is more than a need than just a cataloging website. So Just in Time is equally excited about this fact that there is a huge potential, और हम बहुत ज़्यादा focus कर रहे हैं to make Just in Time a omni-channel retail ecosystem for the Indian consumers. The new baby that has just arrived at Just in Time is Bangalore as a city. So up to 2020 or 2021 tak Just in Time sirf west of India mein jani jati thi, and now we are set to make it a national brand, with Bangalore becoming the first store in the South market. We are looking at about 15 stores in the next 6 months in the entire South region. The vision that our MD founder, Mr. Raju Chheda, carries is of having 100 offline stores by 2025. And we all are working day and night to make it a reality. These are some snapshots about, quick highlights about where we are today. Yes, we have the highest market share in the West. We host more than 50 plus leading watch brands at Just in Time. And with our existing footprint, we have been able to capture about 75,000 square feet of retail area across India. Talking about what really differentiates us from others, right? How are we different? What is our IP? ऐसा क्या अलग करते हैं हम कि ये फ्रेंचाइजी मॉड्यूल आपके लिए इंटरेस्टिंग हो सकता है. These are the core differentiators why we've been able to run a profitable business year on year. Yes, every business out there in India is thriving, and we really welcome healthy competition. In fact, competition is even more important in ecosystem like us because the market is only growing. और ये मार्केट इतनी बड़ी है, जैसे आपने नंबर्स देखे, $1.8 billion is only dominated and hosted by few organized retail players. So there is a huge potential for anyone to be in this market. Hence, we now want to even grow further faster with partners like y'all who have potential and will to do something of their own. These are the differentiating points that we think that has helped us, and we think that with this experience, know-how, and trust that we've built so far, we'll be able to move ahead together. Some of the new points that are captured here are largest selection of our inventory, which is cumulatively across all our 50 stores. We must have today about 65,000 individual units of watches that we can offer to our customers today. That ideally says that we have about 12,000 to 15,000 different SKUs and models. Yes, we have a robust loyalty program that helps the customer to visit again. In terms of trust, our ecosystem is built on trust, legitimacy, and the authenticity of the products. There are multiple brands that are being sold with a fake name on the ecosystem, maybe on online or offline today. And Just in Time is known for its trust. It's known for the experience that the customers get when they walk into a Just in Time store. To summarize in a nutshell, this slide actually gives you a bird's eye view and a snapshot where we are and who's in this ecosystem. Most of you all know all of these names. Let me give you a gist about where exactly we stand. So on your left hand side, you will see mass market, premium, and luxury. And on the x-axis, you will see the organized, specialized, and personalized selections. Just in Time is positioned perfectly at between premium and luxury, and at personalized. People want the experience of premium and luxury when they buy a product like a watch, and they want the buying behavior to be personalized. Though they must be buying a watch which is available across the platforms, but the experience matters a lot in this ecosystem. It is a product that holds a lot of flaunt value. अगर जो मैं आज कोई भी घड़ी लेता हूं, मैं स्टोर में एंटर करता हूं, मैं एक या दो लोगों के साथ आऊंगा एक्स्ट्रा. How I am buying that, the process of selection matters a lot in this ecosystem. The players that you see in this ecosystem, particularly, let me start top down. If you see Kapoor watches and Ethos watches, these players are only focused on premium watches. I already explained what premium watches are. Helios and the Shopper Stop, Lifestyle, and Central, I would put them in one category, though they are different. Helios particularly is backed by Titan and Tata Group, of course. They are present across India today, and that, in fact, has opened up the Indian market to the good side. But there is still a lot of scope of improvement when it comes to services. They do not host service stations at each and every store of theirs, where Just in Time has service stations in every store we host. And particularly the brands that we talk about, Titan and Tata Group is known for focusing on the brands that they host only. They would not have the exact brand mix that we would like to cater. For example, Casio is a big differentiator as a group that Just in Time hosts, but Helios wouldn't have. Shopper Stop, Lifestyle, Central again is an LFR model where you will see anything from an apparel to a fragrance to a makeup and watches. So a serious watch buyer would never walk into a LFR store and make a purchase. And Timex World and World of Titan are boutiques specifically known for their brand products. So Just in Time is positioned perfectly at personalized and the experience of premium. Talking about e-commerce that I covered before, these are some snapshots to give you a gist what our existing website looks like. Having said that, what we are working on right now is going to really shift what you're looking at the screen. We're working on an entire omni-channel e-commerce experience, which is going to be linked with your backend and your store's inventory. And it is only going to push the offline retail sales as an advantage. So जो भी हमारे partners जुड़ते हैं, उनको ये e-commerce की ecosystem में part लेने का मौका मिलेगा. It's not only, selling on platforms like Amazon or Flipkart. It is like owning your own website. It is doing e-commerce business on your own. We've already made a robust platform. We want partners to run it. And we have seen and experienced that happening in other businesses. And we are sure with Just in Time, we'll be able to make it fly. What is our business model? What exactly we do? These are simply put, this is all what we do. We sell wristwatches, we sell smartwatches, we sell wall clocks. We also give services and maintenance across all watch brands and categories. In terms of accessories, we do host some supportive accessories like watch cases, solutions for watches, etc. These are the 3S model that we have and that we encourage our partners to focus on: sales, service, and spares. This is typically how Just in Time looks like from outside and inside. We have a fantastically groomed sales staff and a knowledgeable staff that understands each and every brand by its own personality and is able to explain to the customers what is the differentiation between a particular watch and B. From brand fixtures like Rado and Tissot and Romer, Timex, etc., you will see all sorts of experiences in our stores. And you can see the facade of the store, which is how usually a just-in-time store looks like, which gives you a premium feeling. Even if you're buying a entry-level 5,000 rupee or a 2,000 rupee watch. Okay, so what is the product mix that we are focused on? I did cover this briefly before, but let me really focus and explain what exactly fashion means. So fashion category, what we've termed it as any watch that is sold between 10,000 rupee and 1 lakh rupee is a fashion category for us. That category is growing in India. And that is the exact mix that we hold as the maximum options for a customer to choose between brands. Premium fashion is priced usually beyond 1 lakh. That contributes to about 30% of our overall sales today. Seasonal watches, again, are special occasion watches, couple watches, wall clocks, etc. And impulse buying is usually something that is placed besides your cash counter, usually kids' watches, accessories, services, etc. These are the kind of brands. Not all are placed here because there was only one slide to do justice. But these are the most of the brands that you might already know and we host today. So we've clearly differentiated them into affordable, bridge to premium, and premium. These brands, if you clearly see the red column, which is bridge to premium, has more brands. And that's where customers walk into Just in Time with a clear mindset that I'm walking in with a perception or with an agenda of buying a bridge to premium luxury brand. Now, talking about what's the fun selling only other brands, right? We understood that very early in the business, and we made sure that eventually we would want to own some of these brands. So we started learning how the market works, where are the gaps, etc. And we made our own white label brands. So if you see the red tick mark besides the brand, those are our 4 brands that we've built so far. And there are multiple brands that we have a vision that are in making and will be rolled out soon. Every watch brand of our private label is positioned perfectly to cater a particular watch need of a buyer and has a demand of its own. Of course, if it is a personal brand, there is huge potential for the partners for bigger margins, for higher margins. Talking about ever evolving support and engine, yes, we have a superior inventory management control on all sorts of inventory. We have learned with our experience of running 50 stores successfully, every store of ours makes profit. Hence, we've understood how the replenishment of inventory works and how important it is. We keep on investing in our merchandising efforts, and we intend to do so year on year. Robust omni-commerce technology is something that Just in Time is focusing on big time, and we are investing a lot of money there. Customer community and remarketing is important than ever before. Remarketing is a concept that is only going to evolve and going to bring the consumer closer to the brand. We are invested in the thought and we are growing our teams in those domains. Multi-channel avenues for stock liquidation, like we are present on our own website. We also are present on marketplaces. We also have our stores. Every store will have their own individual demand and we'll be able to replenish stocks accordingly. Social media, digital innovation, we all know what it does and we are invested there too. This is again giving you the experience of how the store has the world-class experience from the inside. Our usual stores ranges from 700 square feet and goes up to 4,500 square feet. The current store that you're seeing from the multiple pictures is particularly from GM Road, which is the premium high street road in Pune and was our flagship when we entered Pune. I talked about product supplies and marketing. Let me focus on price points. Price points for an Indian consumer plays an important role, and we understand that very well. We know that there are multiple brands that we are hosting. Every brand might be available somewhere or the other. How much price plays an important role. Hence, we are aligned very well with all of these brands, and we have deep relationships with each and every one. And we make sure that we do not lose the battle on a subject like price. What's the next story for Just in Time? Franchising and omni-commerce experience. Both of these opportunities are big enough for Just in Time to be invested and to scale the near future. We have started the investment since last couple of years, and we are seeing positive growth. Franchising being the most and primary focus of area of growth, because tier 2 and tier 3 is somewhere that we would like to enter ASAP, and omni-channel is definitely somewhere we are investing, but it is a learning curve. With offline stores, we've already mastered the business of running profitable stores. We just have to implement it with the right kind of partners. Let me tell you what is omni-channel before heading to franchising opportunity. So e-commerce, which is going to be integrated with every store, and the store owner then targeting their own local customers to invite them to their store, and then instead of pushing the products to them, we are entirely focusing on the pull strategy. That is what omni-commerce ecosystem e-commerce does to you. For that, a lot of technology pieces are required, which is what we are fixing at this point of time. Let me give you a gist about franchising. India is big. What is our priority one? Where do we see ourselves in which cities? We did a deep dive research. Where do we want to go first? Every city that you see on your slide right now holds a priority one in Just-in-Time's mind. We currently are present on leading high streets, premium malls, but we are also looking at opportunities at airports, corporate locations, ID parks, etc. We are looking at about 200 plus stores in the near future. 100 as a target, as I already shared, by 2025. All these cities are just not names on the slide. We have had personal experiences and we've personally visited these locations. We've done our ground research, and we are sure that when Just-in-Times enters these market, we will win. It's now we want to win together with the potential partner. With Franchise India and FranCorp, we were able to understand what would be the right partner for us. Though we are of a mind, any partner with a willingness to grow will be a good partner. But to just refine who can immediately contact us, maybe somebody who has already owned a business, or somebody who understands of owning a luxury business would be the right fit. For example, a property or a real estate owner. Because Just-in-Time is in an industry which gives you the chance and the opportunity of associating with luxury international brands. Here, businesses of different kinds, and particularly people who are present on this call, must be looking at opportunities everywhere. Maybe in a restaurant, maybe in a food business, maybe in a jewelry business, or maybe in a local travel business. Yes, opportunities are everywhere, but there are very few opportunities as a business you can run yourself and make a pride of it. It's like owning a Mercedes. The second kind of profile that we think are professionals with strong background in retail experiences. We think experience matters a lot. Beyond AI, beyond any kind of technology, experience matters a lot. And with that, we think with our experience and somebody's experience in retail, we both can, have a win-win situation, because the existing business of our own, we've explored, we've ran successfully, and we think somebody who understands retail would be able to run the retail business better. And of course, the third and the fourth sections are usually common, which is potential investors looking for diversifying their income stream, and businesses within the watch retailing sector. The fourth one is actually the most meaningful one to me, because there are many players out in the tier 2s and tier 3 who already run a watch shop, but are not able to compete in today's competitive market. Here we are talking about growth. We can join hands and grow together. What is the comprehensive brand support that we are willing to give, and the kind of handholding that we are planning to give to our potential partners? Selecting locations, staff and training modules, technology and accounting support, store upkeep and local marketing, and operations manual when you are onboarded. These are a few things that we'll be focusing on, and we'll be making sure that we cross that 1 year mark of running the store together. This is how we would like ourselves to look like in few years. The bold red spots are the places where we already have, or where we already have COCO stores, and some places like Delhi NCR, Telangana, and West Bengal, where we are planning to have company-owned, company-operated stores very soon. Having said that, that doesn't mean that we don't want to have franchisee partners there. We are aggressively looking at partners in these states and around states where we see there is huge potential. With that, I would just like to conclude my introduction about Just in Time, and would like to personally meet every one of y'all with a 1.5 hour meet covering some business aspects and running down some numbers. Thank you all for hearing me out. Wish to work with you all in person.
Thank you so much, Ronak. And before we proceed to the Q&A, would you want to give some understanding on the financials? Typically, what kind of area requirement do we need? What would be the overall capital requirement we need from the investor?
Sure. So I was asked by the team that we will be running the numbers in the second meeting, but to give you a gist, we are looking at about investment of about 70 lakhs to 1 crore, depending on where the store is going to be, maybe on the high street, mall, premium location, etc. There is going to be a franchise fee attached to it. And we are also looking at about 25% of margin passover, cumulatively, approximately for all brands. And that brings to about 22% of ROI year on year. These are the ballpark numbers that we know. There is an extensive Excel that we have made. It's a 1 hour session where we would like to present it to the partners who are interested. So I would definitely want the partners to really request a meeting for us to really present the financials.
Sure, Anak. So we can do that in detail, for all the interested investors. But I'll take a couple of questions which I do see coming in. And friends, I will also request, if you have any specific questions, please use the Q&A box and we'll take these questions. So while only for the interested parties, we go in depth in terms of financial working, the breakup, your ROI and all that. But a couple of questions I'll still like to take in the interest of all the audience which is present. And friends, just to summarize the business, the industry, this industry mainly spreads in the format of MBO, kiosks, shop and shops, and still a big unorganized market. And this industry needs more exclusive stores, upgraded retail environments. I saw one of our viewers talk about, we have so many online channels, and today people are actually shopping online, but we need upgraded retail environments. Just in Time is what they're offering. They happen to be India's leading retailer of all the international watch brands, and they bring to you more than 50 plus international watches and as authorized retailers. They have been operating in the last 18 odd years, and both offline when they started off back in 2004 with their first store, and now also available online. And where they started creating a cluster in Maharashtra and Gujarat. And I'm sure all of you who have joined from these markets would reckon with the history of the brand. And, we were discussing with our teams a couple of days back, and there are locations and people have actually shopped. I'm sure a lot of you are from these markets. In these last years, you must, or somebody in your family must have shopped from these outlets. So all across India now is the focus of the company. Maharashtra, Gujarat being there, Maharashtra being the home market, and Gujarat absolutely with Western region. That was the initial focus. But now the company is coming all across, including South, with their entry in Bangalore and Hyderabad, and also in Kolkata, which covers the East. So while they mentioned company-owned, company-operated in these two locations, but we would also welcome any interest from our audience who's keen to look at a franchisee and franchisee operated. And we can even explore, because these two locations are coming up in Hyderabad and Calcutta, if there's a possibility of having maybe a company operated business model, but a franchisee can invest, and we can discuss on certain kind of possibilities, friends, in this. So Mr. Raju Chheda, who's the founder of the company, is a very, very seasoned and a very respected entrepreneur, and he's the name in the trade, I would say, to reckon with. And the overall segment, I would say, and the offering is very, very relevant to the consumer, because they deal in their own private label, which comparatively would be lower in price and better margins. They also have premium watches, and they're offering not a transactional, but experiential stores, because this is a product which is high ticket size. So it needs an experience or maybe an experiential environment for a customer to buy. overall outlay should be about 90 to 1 crores of investment, where a large part of the investment is in the stock that would happen, and about 20-25 lakhs is the investment towards maybe the basic interiors that are needed. And I'm sure you've seen the pictures of the outlet. So these are very classy interiors which are being done. And so Ronak, before I go ahead asking all questions that I want to in the next maybe 10 odd minutes. And to start off, if you can just help, our audience also understand, you've been in the business for very, very long. How have you seen the environment, especially in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years evolve, with the omni-channel now coming in, and all the companies believe, there was a time when people felt brick and mortar would not work when online started coming in. And now the last 2 years, 3 years are all about omni-channel, where every company who wants to have equity in the market, wants to reach out to the customer, is looking at a presence at all channels across. So, what is your own understanding about this environment being evolved? How omni-channel is actually working? What categories that you see today are moving faster? And who is, the biggest buying segment in our case?
Sure. I'm glad that you asked that question, and I see that there is, similar question that has come up as on the Q&A chat bot. I definitely feel like how, most of the retailers think that omni-channel is the only way to survive. And omni-channel is the only way to go ahead for any retailer, may it be in the watch ecosystem or may it be any ecosystem. Thankfully, with the pandemic, the adaptation of mobile and internet has only grown in India, and it is only going to grow. Currently, as we are speaking, I'm in the United States, learning how can we implement omni-commerce and give the best of experience to our consumers back home in India. Here in US, let me give you an example of what's happening in the West, right? And usually technologies are being followed from the West to India. Eventually, I know in this decade itself, India will be the one who will be developing technologies and the West would be following it. And I'm very, very sure about it. But particularly talking about omni-commerce, company like Target, Walmart, which already have entered India and are looking at a market that is catering to about 130 crore people. Offline can only not fulfill all of the needs. E-commerce is equally important. The last 10 years in Indian e-commerce ecosystem, the focus of sales was getting consumers on board. And for that, you saw a lot of cash discounting, you saw a lot of clickbait, you saw a lot of instant gratifications. But right now, the next decade, which is 2021 to 2030, India is going to see a paradigm shift, having multiple e-commerce, offline retail chains adapting e-commerce. Take an example of Metro shoes. It is a fantastic example of how e-commerce and omni-channel has been implemented by a offline brick and mortar retail chain, where it is now known as an e-commerce led first retail chain. And that is exactly what any brand is going to see. E-commerce currently is only at 5% in India, but it is growing at 300% year on year. That stat in itself is a motivator and a kickback for everyone at Just in Time. And as I said, that we are investing big time to be a part of that game.
Sure, Ronak, and a couple of questions I like to take, on also the business model and typical, when we talk about the inventory. And I also saw Mr. Narendra Ahuja ji from the city of Indore. He's from, and he's keen for that location. So I'll put a couple of questions together on the inventory. How is the inventory selection done? Because we saw a lot of categories and these categories would range from your private label to absolutely the premium one. And so how many SKUs and how many products typically in one outlet? How is the selection done? And if you can also give some understanding on the category ratio, how much is private, how much is premium, or the 3-4 categories that we saw in the presentation. And most importantly, if you can also advise, this is a business which has comparatively per square feet efficiencies which are higher because the value of the product is higher. So what kind of per square feet efficiencies does this industry work on, and what is our per square feet efficiency in our business?
Sure. Thanks again for stating that, and I'm glad that people like Mr. Ahuja have already started taking keen interest by asking such relevant questions. Inventory plays a meaningful role in any kind of business, right? So even for just in time, for a watch category business like us, and particularly rightly said that these are expensive products. Even if you're selling a 5,000 rupee product, and if you have to fill a shop, it takes lakhs of rupees to fill a shop. So how do we really do efficient business? By really giving multiple options to consumers, but at the same time be cost effective for the partners also to run a profitable business. 5 years back, let me give you an example before really fixing this question. 5 years back, we thought that, is franchising even an option, right? Because we as business owners will do everything that is possible to pump in money whenever there is required. But the core management at that point of time thought that scaling can only happen with partners. If we join hands, only then we can grow faster. So at that point of time, to break the myth of not being able to do scalable business, we thought that let us implement franchising, right? So we implemented a couple of stores in Bombay, where even today we are running 2 stores which are built on franchising model, and we are running them profitably and successfully. We've gone through that churn of what kind of inventory works and what doesn't. Again, size of the store plays a big role there. Is it a first store in that locality, or it is a follow-on store? If it is Indore, for example, we do not have stores in Indore right now. So if we are entering into a market, we would make sure that we have a meaningful impact. And in order to create a meaningful impact, we do not recommend, or we do not show interest in entering in a size lower than, say, 800 to 1,000 square feet. Now, if we have to fill a 800 to 1,000 square feet unit, we will require at least 1,200 different SKUs. And we will also have to give a meaningful brand mix for consumers to come, visit, and explore what they want. With our experience, we have already charted out the list of brands that are required in that category of 700 to 1,000 square feet with the minimum budget and still being profitable. So we have that reverse math, which is already possible. And as we get time with the potential partners, we'll be presenting that to them.
Sure. How about the per square feet efficiency, in the industry? How does it work? And then in your own experience of running these 40 odd locations in diverse geographies, typically what is, an average store throughput?
Average store throughput depends for each store, locality, region. But we're looking at about 2.5 crores to 3 crores as a revenue year on year from any just-in-time store. Below that, we do not get interested in any business, because there's a lot of hard work which goes in an entire 365-day year around with the store manager, store owner, and people who are associated with that particular store. And talking about per square feet efficiency, we know that math, but we do not look at retail on that aspect. To answer, we look at about 10,000 rupees as an average sales per product per square feet. But that is not the math that works everywhere. The markets are super volatile. But what we make sure is that every store at Just in Time does minimum 250 bills or invoices a month. That basically helps them to make the push of being profitable. As a business, with the existing franchisee that we own and the COCO stores, we only make sure that how do we be profitable today.
Absolutely, Ronak, that's very helpful. And 250 comes from your existing number of outlets that you run, and that is something that you're doing on an average, and maybe even beyond in certain cases, some of the old
Yeah,
locations
yeah,
that
that's the
you're
minimum.
operating. Yeah, so that's very helpful for us to also understand. Now, coming on, the margins, because you talked about your own private label, they're branded companies also. How does the margin work out is one of the questions. And, what do we do in terms of, is there anything called EOSS? Do we do any kind of promotions? And if we do, typically, how are these margins or discounting absorbed?
Yeah, sure. So margins is a big play in our ecosystem. Because these are branded products, the margins automatically are thick, and there is a lot of room to play inside the margins. There are 3 levels of incentives which we get from the brands today, which we think that we can pass on to the partners. There are different opportunities that we can, play around in. Today, we think that with margin structure, as I stated, that 25% is that we are looking as a comfortable cumulatively with all 3 margins, given straight away to the partners. And then year on year, how can we increase that with the ecosystem and brand relationships that we are having with the brands? Of course, private labels plays a big role, and it private label and servicing business. These are the 2 places where the partners will see extra money coming in from, because servicing as a business when we started was close to negligible. Today, it holds at about 10% or close to 10% at just in time, and it is only growing. So we are not only increasing spaces inside stores for servicing, but we are having service related campaigns, marketing initiatives, etc., only focused on servicing. And all these activities will only help each and every store to get the pull. And these are the places where the margins really do not matter, because you will be looking at 100 rupee service sold at maybe 500 rupee, right? So the expertise is what is being sold. So if someone is coming to a just-in-time store, is coming with a trust and giving the Rolex watch to get it serviced, we have the expertise to get it serviced, and that's what the service is usually charged for. So there is huge room to play. There is huge money to be made. Sky is again the limit. Out of 50 stores that we run today, there are 10 stores where the numbers do not really match to the plans that we've made, because the numbers are exponential. And that's the potential for every store that we operate, every store that we make.
Sure. So when we talk about these margins of 25%, you said go straight, is this what we talk about blended margins altogether, wherein some products would have high and private would have maybe a higher margin, some would have low, or 25 is outside your own private product?
No, this is definitely outside, because we are into multi-brand outlet, and most of these are multi-brands which are outside our private labels. So these are blended margins, which is 25%. And we intend to give that to the partners straight away, because we know that if a new brand is entering into a market and wants to grow, we'll have to push that support and give all what we get to the partners. What we are going to focus on is how can we scale together sustainably.
Sure, that's helpful. Ronak, and couple of more things, one, because we have now omni-channel, we have online, we have offline now stores coming in. And when we talk about fulfillment, because a lot of people and how, typically this market actually works, and I've never bought a watch online, myself, anybody in the family, we would search the designs, the costing, everything online, but we want to create an experience, see how it looks and feels. And we watch, we go and buy this offline. I see this question coming from Mr. Dipesh Vishwas Mahajanji. He's asking your opinion on Carrot Lane. They tied up with Tanishq Tata, offline business, ticket size, does that matter? Touch and feel, does that matter?
Yes. So to understand the question better, I think he's asking about the touch and feel experience versus online experience, right?
Yeah.
So to really answer that, not only because we are from this ecosystem, but if I today buy any pair of clothing, I am a buyer who would like to feel the material and would like to hold the material before I make a purchase. Having said that, it's not that I've never purchased an apparel online. The fact of online and offline is, the reality is both worlds are going to exist. Both platforms are going to exist. To have a successful sell on the online store, it is important for a brand to have an offline store. Hence, in India, you will see that Walmart is focusing on opening grocery stores, offline stores, where Flipkart is only focused on online, but they are now opening grocery stores which are offline. Even here in US right now, what we are seeing is Amazon, which is a 100% online company, has Amazon 4-star stores across the US. And they understand that it is important for a customer to go in the store, experience the products which are highly rated, recommended, and then buy it then and there if they wanted to buy it offline. So if a company which is new age, which is a startup, which is grown, in as a unicorn, as a $1 billion company, is also looking at offline as a platform, we are already in a space where we've mastered offline. And now we are doing something which is already the gene of the era, which is online. So I think it will always complement. Having online presence will always complement. Previously, it was only cataloging. If I want to surf a product, I will surf it. And then I'll go to a store, I'll maybe check the price, I'll again go online and buy. But today the pricing have been, settled by the brand itself. They do not want that pricing disparity. You will see even Amazon and Flipkart. The challenge with Amazon and Flipkart is separate. If that comes as a question, they have a huge fake product issues that they are facing today. But that is the exact benefit that a consumer gets when they, look at a brand, an aggregator like Just in Time, who's only focused on watches, already has a trust in offline market and now coming online. So there is already trust which is established.
Very helpful. Ronak, while we have reached the end of our session, but one question, and anybody else, friends, if you have more questions, and like we mentioned, all the Q&A that we want to take on the financial, or understanding that need on the ROI, the breakup of the investment, is something that we want to discuss more, one-to-one. It could be a physical meeting or maybe a meeting on the Zoom, because we like to engage and understand your interest to share these information. So last two questions, Ronak, from me. One, I wanted to understand, when we look at the stock, are there any credit lines given? Is it outright stock that is bought? Are we giving any kind of correction or help our partners liquidate that stock which is slow moving, unsold? How does that work? And my other question is a bit on the operating expenses, right? Because we understand the initial investment, but you don't need too much of apart from absolutely the real estate, because we're looking at locations which are prime locations. So typically what becomes our operating expenses and the heads under which we would have these expenses. And the other is on my stock correction, liquidation of stock, and also how it is bought. We're giving some credit lines on ongoing inventory. It is outright. Over to you.
Sure. So most of the products that we source, have definite credit terms. The relationship of Just in Time with the brands is 25 years deep. So we already have that benefit built and the ecosystem built, that even if we are dealing with a brand which is highly reputed, which usually has stubborn or rigid margin practices or credit practices in the ecosystem or the industry, we already hold certain credit line flexibility with these brands. And we have made a plan that we are going to pass on this to the partners, because that is very, very important to really stay afloat. Talking about the inventory, the benefit of having multiple locations is that you can easily replenish the stocks from A store to B. Having said that, we do not really encourage this practice, because every purchase that is made at the store is important. But in the first few years, to make sure that what works in that particular location, we do all what is possible. When it comes to taking back the stock, helping the partner to market better, helping the partner to replenish the stocks, helping the partner to add margins, add credit line, etc., The first few years, particularly the first 1,000 days, which is equivalent to 3 years, is we feel is very important for any relationship to work. May it be us only if we are entering, like for example, we are entering Bangalore today. We are ready that if we enter Bangalore and if we make losses for next 3 years, it's okay. But we are going to learn, we are going to stay afloat for 1,000 days, and we'll see that how can we be profitable and how can we sustain there. With our experience and gut, of course, we know that we'll be able to sail through, right? And make profits in each location. And that's the exact strategy that we plan to have for our partners.
Sure. Like I see one last question which I'll take, and this is, question from Mohit. He already is running one, store himself. And the question that he's asked is on the margin. And, I would like to maybe extend that to ask, are these very competitive? Because we're running an exclusive outlet for branded watch brand, so to say. And also there are exclusive outlets in the city that would have these brands. So would a franchise partner have a competitive edge, and are we also maintaining any kind of price parity, in these stores vis-a-vis even our own online platform and the other retailers in the city?
Yes. Yeah. So thanks, Mohit, first of all, for asking this candid question. It's very important to understand that what ecosystem we are in. A 25% margin in a food industry would really look very small. A 25% market, margin in an apparel industry maybe would really look very small. But as soon as you look at a jewelry or a watch industry, the numbers quantify, because these are the products which are usually sold at a ASP of 15,000 to 20,000. That's the ASP, right? So that automatically gives you the bump in the margin. That's the safety net that you're holding. Having said that, 25% is not something that we want to stick to. We definitely are growing year on year in terms of adding that extra cushion on the margin side. We also know that it is important for any businessman to really make meaningful return out of any business to grow year on year. And that's our intent. Talking about the second part of your question, which is, pardon me, I lost that question. Was it regarding the ecosystem? Oh, sorry, I'm not able
Sorry, yeah, it was regarding the pricing that we have and the margins that we have, considering that we have exclusive stores, we have other retailers in the market.
Yeah. Got it. So talking about the competitive edge, as I've mentioned in the previous slide, one of the slide which talked about who's doing what, right? So Just in Time has brands that caters to all market segments, particularly in the in the sector that we are in, which is mass, fashion, and bridge to premium. So when you see these categories, we'll host all sorts of possible brands that can do well or has the potential of length and breadth in terms of SKUs, in terms of models. So when it comes to brand mix, there is no other player like Just in Time. You can do the research, you can evaluate the market, you can visit these partners as a learning curve, and you'll understand that when you walk into a competitor of this segment, you will see that only brands that are focused, that they own will be shown there. So the consumer is really, not getting any benefit in terms of brand mix. And at the end, consumer usually understands that, if I go to this store, I'm only getting A, B, and C. There is no new innovation. Whereas when you walk to a Just in Time, every quarter or maybe every 6 months, there is a new brand that is introduced. And not for the sake of introducing a new brand, with a real potential market validation, with the quantum of understanding that, okay, is this going to add value to the business? And how much new money can an existing partner make out of this new brand? That is the constant evaluation our merchandising teams and the core team does. And we keep on evaluating the market.
Great. Thank you so much, Ronak. And friends, any other questions, I'll request all of you, we take these all questions one-to-one, and we are hosting a discovery day, and you can block your time for this day, both physically if you are a localite of Bombay, and in case in Ahmedabad, we already have Mr. Raj Chheda ji, who's Raju Chheda ji, who's already there in Ahmedabad. In case anybody wants to meet him there, they can be meeting that can be lined up. So the date which is confirmed for Discovery Day or one-to-one meetings, face-to-face meetings or virtual meetings that you want to pick is 23rd of December. You can reach out on the hotline number of Franchise India, email us to us, email your requirement to us or your slot to us. At the same time, even our teams will reach out to all of you friends who have joined the webinar, and many of you, I know you had registered for the webinar but could not join, and you requested that we reach out to you. So our teams will reach out with the entire information to make your understanding, I would say, easy. And equally, we would like to also empower brand to filter the right candidature for their franchisees in these respective locations. So before we close, Ronak, maybe last message that you want to give to the entire audience listening both live as well as on the webinar.
I think thank you for taking out time at this hour, and looking forward to working with the interested partners soon. And 2022 should be the year for us. Good luck and have a great day ahead.
Great. Thank you, Ronak, and thank you for making it. I understand we are at two opposite time zones, for US and India, and it must be a little late for you already. So have a great evening ahead. Thank you for being with us. Ashna, over to you, please.
So thank you so much, Ronak. It was our privilege to represent your brand on the platform Franchise India. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am. Thanks all the dear friends for joining it today. We definitely want you to come back to us to book your slot with us for our Discovery Day, which we are keeping on 23rd. Please do registration with us at our business hotline number, which is 97176-83838. We request you to share your valuable suggestion and feedback with us at our different social handles. We are available at Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And in case you wish to understand more about this opportunity, rest of the opportunities which we are providing to all our investors, join Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their respective LinkedIn IDs. Information I have just shared on the screen. And tomorrow, under our we are inviting you for our business opportunity with Chai webinar series at 12 p.m. So don't miss this chance. Join us for Cleanse 24. They are offering the laundry and dry cleaning subscription based app. So please do registration with us to join us on Monday at 12 p.m. webinar. Thank you so much once again for joining in today. Have a safe day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, friends.